Now elsewhere this evening, urban tree canopies, so-called rain gardens and green roofs, they're just a few of the things that need to be considered to protect Scotland from the effects of climate change. That's according to a newly published report from the Scottish Government.
It also looks at our resilience to droughts, floods and wildfires. Our environment correspondent Kevin Keane has more.
We're seeing scenes like these more often, and predicting flooding is becoming ever more difficult. Wildfires too are becoming a challenge. They're lasting longer and are more difficult to control. And so a plan is needed, like changes to this burn in Barrhead. It now has its own floodplain on land once covered by derelict buildings. And the local school children say it's now a great place to go.
It was really dirty and mucky, but now it's made a change. It's like really clean and clear.
There was lots of glass and lots of rubbish, but that's definitely changed now, and it's not as dirty as it used to be. I've always come here for a picnic or stuff with my family.
Using nature to protect us like this living wall in Madrid is a key part of the plan. It provides shade for the buildings, keeping them cool. And more trees in our streets are needed to shade us too. The difficult decision for politicians is around when rather than whether to spend the money. Projects like this are an expensive upfront investment, but studies have shown it's cheaper to do this than pay for the clean-up from flooding further down the line. So can we afford it?
We just have to afford it. I mean, I think much like our actions to reduce emissions, it will have to be a combination of public money, absolutely, but equally we have to be open-minded to leveraging in other means of financial support, responsible private investment, both individual and institutional.
But there's not a bottomless pit of money, and so the plan is as much about preparing communities for flooding as it is protecting against it.
So we can't engineer our way out of climate change. It's part of the solution, but we need to take a much wider look to how we adapt, and that includes things like natural flood management, allowing rivers more room to spread out essentially so they don't flood, whilst also protecting key areas of infrastructure and the middles of our cities.
So challenges ahead, both environmental and financial. Kevin Keane, BBC News.